Hey, welcome back to Adventure World in Godot. So I started working on my map, and here's what I've got so far for the castle. So there'll be like a little courtyard here with a gate, and then a boss room, and then beyond that will be the treasure room. And I'm hoping to have some sort of little platform here to hold up the treasure that I'll work on in the future. But I already noticed that there's something that I really need to do, and I thought maybe I could go ahead and make a quick video on that. So I noticed that this castle looks really empty, and it's also a little bit bizarre that you can see the sky through the castle. So to do that, what I want to do to fix that is I want to make a background layer. So my map has a tile map here, and I'm actually going to rename that to foreground. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate that and make a background tile map. And I'm going to move the background behind the player so that it'll render behind the player. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to remove the collisions. So player's not going to collide with this background at all, so I'm just removing those collision masks altogether. Now Godot will still produce collisions for these, and I don't know if there's much of a performance hit for that. You could of course fix that. Got to make sure I'm writing on the right one. You could of course fix that by making a new tile set. So I've got my default tile set here. So you make a new tile set and replace all these with non-collision tile sets. But in my case, I'm going to try this and see if the performance is fine without it. So as you see, this looks pretty terrible. It just looks like a solid wall, even though my player should be able to walk through this. So if I play this, I should be able to walk right on through there. So that's kind of neat. But visually this is pretty rough. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to make that background darker. So let's see if we can do that. So I'm going to go down here to visibility, go to modulate, and right now it's totally white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower that, I'm going to darken that up just a little bit, maybe somewhere in there. I may adjust that, but that's the idea of what I'm going to do. Now check it out. So now I've got nice bright bricks for the foreground, and then my background kind of sits back there. So I think that's pretty great effect for very little effort. And I can go in here and fill this in. I also find out I do not believe that the fill command is in Godot 3. I couldn't find it up here, and I could swear that Godot 3.1 does have a fill command, so I could kind of like outline an area and then just hit that fill button and fill that whole area up. I don't know if I'm mistaken that I don't know the hotkey or something, but man, that would be super nice. So I'm looking forward to 3.1 releasing. I probably won't update Adventure World until 3.1 goes totally release, because I did run into a couple super minor issues with the beta, and I thought for the bulk of users, let's stick with the 3.1 until it releases. So anyways, the other thing I did is I added a couple more tiles in here. So now I've got a wood tile. So I should be able to make like a little wood cabin here, and then add. Let's go to our foreground. So I have to click on foreground. And then I can add. There we go. Little roof. So actually, let me like that. And then let's go ahead and grab this grass, continue that on, some dirt, and then I'm going to make a door on there. And I don't have a door object yet, so let me go ahead and make one. And before I used a flag for the door, and I kind of regretted that, or to teleport us to another level. So I wanted to use a door. So I have a door object here in art under tiles, I believe. Yeah, here we go. So there's a closed and open door, and got my area 2D, and I'll add a collision. A shape will be fine, but I need a couple sprites. Unfortunately, my door is split into two different sprites, so I've got a upper door sprite. Actually, I'm just going to remove the door part because we know this is a, and then lower sprite. And of course my capitalization's off. Alright, so I'm going to drag the upper, oops, I want the open door, and then the lower will go in this one. If I can get my dragging and dropping going. So let's see. So it's going to center this, and so let me scoot this up. I think that's fine. It looks pretty good, and so what I'm going to do is set the shape up on this, and I'll just go with a rectangle, and I'll stretch it out a little bit and widen it up. I think that's fine. And if I move my collision shape down here, we'll be able to see it. There we go. So yeah, that should be fine. And oop, let me rename this. So this is a door. And I'll save that to objects. Save. Alright, so now I should be able to drag my door in, go to objects, find my door, drag it in and put it right there. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Yeah, and I put it on my foreground on accident. I really wanted that to be in my static objects. Now, if you had a complex object, I probably would add an organizational node here. So I may say, like, you know, if that thing's going to have more things like a torch on the front, which I probably will do, I'm going to have that here, and I'm going to call this the merchant. And then I'll put all of the merchants nodes up under there. So I won't make a torch right now. I'm going to look into some lighting stuff, and then I'll make a torch in the future that hopefully has a little bit of a flicker effect to it that'll help improve that. But you already see, like, this is the same wood texture, but because I made it darker, I can both walk through it because it's part of my background, but it also helps separate that apart and gives me kind of a, whoops, yeah, there's a problem. I need to have a background layer of static objects, I guess. I probably could move all these just for now. I'm going to move those into the background, and let's call them background static objects. Yeah, we'll see in the future if we need to fix that. But anyways, that allows me to walk around in front of my little merchant's house, and the idea is you'll portal into his house and buy a torch from him in order to progress. So yeah, I think it's coming along nicely, and I wanted to add this little feature of this background so that I could go ahead and build out the rest of this castle, and then I'll start working on some more stuff. So I'll see you soon. Thanks.